Greetings. Welcome to the Rage Englewood live call-in show. I'm Aisha Butler, president of Rage, the Resident Association of Greater Englewood.
And I'm Sonia Harper, proud member and West Englewood resident.
And we are here tonight. Of course, this is a live call-in show. It's an interactive show. We have a really great topic tonight. We're revisiting something that we talked about I think about a year ago, about the roles of the churches in the Black community. Make sure you call us tonight at 312-738-1060. And make sure you join the discussion. But before we get started in the topic, I think we'll talk about a little bit of the news that's happening around Englewood.
And just so you know, you can always reach us. Again, we are the Residents Association of Greater Englewood. You can always visit our website at www.rageenglewood.org, or please give us a call anytime at 866-845-1032. You can even email us, joinrage@gmail.com.
And you could also follow us on any of our social media outlets, either on Facebook at Rage Resident Association of Greater Englewood, or on Twitter at join_rage, or even on Instagram at rage_Englewood. We have a lot of lively discussions, great photographs, so definitely follow any of those social media outlets.
And just in case any of you are new joining us tonight, we want to let you know exactly who RAGE is. Again, RAGE stands for the Resident Association of Greater Englewood, and we were founded in November of 2010, and we, like I said, are a resident-driven association established to build relationships with residents, public officials, business owners, and organizations.
We are completely grassroots. We work in an asset-based capacity where many of our members share their passions, their gifts, and that's how we address some of the issues that are in our community. And who are our members? Most of our members are actually residents who live in the Greater Englewood community. We have about 5 1/4 wards. As you can see on the screen, it is the 15th ward,
the 16th ward,
the 17th ward,
the 20th ward,
the 6th ward,
and the 6th ward.
And then a little bit at the top, you see that little small blue is the 3rd ward. It's not many voters in that area, so it's not a huge constituent population of Englewood residents there. But most of our members are in any of those wards. And then we also have folks who actually don't live in the community who support our work and who support our mission.
So even if you're not from Englewood, you can too become a member of RAGE.
Again, this is a call-in show. If you have any questions about RAGE or the Resident Association of Greater Englewood, feel free to call us at 312-738-1060. And we'll go right into the news and let you know what's happening around Englewood. So the first thing is actually tomorrow. We host a bi-monthly Englewood Village meeting. This is a meeting that's open to the public. Anyone can attend. We really, really would love residents in the area to attend because we try to give as much information as possible about things that are happening in the area, updates from our legislative bodies. Tomorrow we actually have speakers from Whole Foods coming in to give an update about their community engagement work, and we also have State Rep Andre the Petty and a couple of other guest speakers. So all are welcome. Please tell anyone on your block to join you, and if you come alone, just grab the information and pass it out on your block.
That's right. And I just want to let you know the RAGE meetings are the meetings to get your neighborhood information. I've never been to another meeting in the community, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a member, where they give you so much positive information about what's going on in the community and how you can immediately get involved. And I mean really good information that you can use to help you right then and there.
That's right. And we'll be at Mercy Housing Community Room. It's right across the street from the Whole Foods development at 901 West 63rd Street, and we start promptly at 6 o'clock.
And we invite you to come out and support Englewood's very own Youth and Police Baseball League.
Yeah, this is such a great story.
Yes, it is. This is where the cops are the coaches, and the youth in Englewood are the players, and it's 9 to 12-year-olds, girls and boys. Wonderful, wonderful baseball league. The first of its kind, I believe, in Englewood.
Yeah, I think so, in terms of actually connecting the young people with the police. I have not seen anything like that before. And Hamilton Park is a beautiful park. We talk about it each week about folks coming out there. And these young people need, I think, community support. I think the mayor was out last week who went to their game.
Yes.
But it's something to do if you're looking to bring your children or you just want to watch a great baseball game. It's 6 different teams, and they are at Hamilton Park every Wednesday at 5:30.
And if you're searching for a place to buy some locally grown,
Yes.
fresh and organic, reasonably priced fruits and vegetables, Wood Street Urban Farm has a farm stand every single Wednesday.
Every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday
Wow,
in Englewood.
okay.
It's the first and only certified organic farm in the city of Chicago.
Nice.
Every Wednesday, 11 to 3. Go by, take a tour of the farm, shop and grab some vegetables or some herbs, and even maybe participate in some demos that they got going on. The farm is located at 5814 South Wood Street.
Okay. Not far at all. And I love this. One of our members is actually leading this up, which is the Englewood Toastmasters. Have you ever been to Toastmasters before?
I have not.
Well,
but I heard it's very, very intriguing.
It is a great organization that really helps individuals with speaking, with leadership skills, and they have a really great group that meets on Friday. So they're doing an open house. This is a free membership to come out, go to the open house, learn more about Toastmasters. It'll be at the actual 7th District police station at 1438 West 63rd Street. If you are nervous about speaking in public, or you became the local president of the LLC or something like that, this would be a great opportunity for you to connect and get some leadership skills.
That's right. And come on out to the Grow Greater Englewood community meeting happening this Friday, July 24th. Grow Greater Englewood is a neighborhood coalition whose mission is to empower the community
Nice.
by collaborating to cultivate a healthy and resilient food system and economy.
Yes, that's really important.
Right? So if you care about food and education and outreach about nutrition and healthy eating, if you care about gardening or urban farming, if you care about land use and who's going to be owning the land in Englewood,
Yes.
I really
That's important.
Yeah, encourage you to come on out to the meeting this Friday, July 24th. It's open to all residents. And in
Good.
fact, we need more residents at that meeting to kind of weigh in on land and access and
right.
food issues in the community. So come on out, find out what's going on.
So this is the last thing that we're asking you to come on out to. We are still on our tour of So Fresh Saturdays, and our next one is at Hermitage Park, right by the farm stand.
That's right.
At 5839 South Wood. That is on July 25th from 3 to 8, and it's basically a fun-filled festival for all ages. We was at Ogden Park a couple of weeks ago. It was phenomenal. Even in the rain, people had a joyous time. And we do this because we want to bring peace in the parks in our community. And so many young people say they can't come in the parks because all the game bangers are in the parks, and this is a time that we say that's not going to happen. We're reclaiming these spaces back in the name of peace. So we tell all ages to come out. It is something to do for anyone, and it's free, and again, it's open to the public.
That's right. So come on out. It's a great time for all ages.
That's right. Again, you're watching our call-in show. This is a live, interactive call-in show. So we definitely want you to call us at 312-738-1060. Join the discussion if you had any questions about anything we just shared, or just to talk to us. That would be great. What we're going to do is probably transition a little bit into our topic tonight. It's been a lot of things going on in terms of happening with the black churches in the community. We had some tragedies that came up. We've just been hearing a lot. Some of the churches were being
church
burned.
shootings, church burnings, just an attack on the churches,
It is.
black churches in America.
It is. And I think that it's really important for Englewood, with a place that has at least over 150 churches there. That's what we reported before. That might have decreased or increased. We are not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to talk again about the church role in the black communities, and especially in communities like Englewood that are completely distressed. So but before we bring our guest on, which we're really excited about talking to, we want to show a clip from when we talked about this topic last year.
Yeah, last season.
And had Pastor Jay on, who has a church right off the boulevard, 1701 West 55th Street.
That's Canaan Community Church.
Canaan Community Church, and some of his thoughts about the role of black churches in our community. Are we ready for the clip?
Take a look.
The role is, we kind of have to understand the history of the church, especially the African American church. The history of the African American church has been to always be the voice of the people. So when you think of the civil rights movement, what you think of is groups, numbers, hundreds, thousands of African Americans coming together, meeting in churches to hear their voice, to talk about the issues in the community, and the church being the proponent to get that voice out. And I think that that's still the need. Unfortunately, what you've seen now, especially in communities like Englewood, is that the church has kind of just become self-seeking, more so than it's been about the voice of the community. And so you see churches just trying to maintain their own status, maintain their own buildings, maintain their own people, rather than stepping outside the doors and seeing what the real needs are of the community.
Exactly.
Now, it's not all churches, but it's many. And unfortunately, that's become a reputation. I'll ask a pastor, what's your focus? What's your heart? What is it that you want to do? And they'll usually give me an answer like, oh, we want to see people grow. We want to see this become a great place. We want to see this, this, and this. And I always say, if I looked at your budget right now, would that back up what you think is your focus? And I always say, that's how you can tell what the focus of a church is, looking right at its budget. Unfortunately, the churches at Englewood, if we're honest with ourselves, we've been more about maintaining, because that's been what the kind of the premise of the neighborhood has been, right? So the reason why you build a church really quickly in a neighborhood like Englewood is because it's not as expensive as going somewhere else.
Exactly. Could that go to the reason why there's so many churches in Englewood? Because is it easier to get a church than it is?
Where's their vacant space?
So that actually was a clip, and I am so happy that you are joined with me today. I have Reverend Kevin Andre Brooks,
Yes.
who is the pastor at, let me say this correctly, St. John's AME Church here in Englewood. Is that correct?
Greater St. John.
Greater St.
Not to
John's.
be confused with lesser.
Gotcha. And that is located on 62nd and Troop. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And just a little bit about you. You are actually a native from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you've been at the church. It looks like you were appointed back in November of 2014.
Yes.
And you are now the senior pastor. And so we really wanted to, hear your perspective about the roles of the church. Because you just recently came to Englewood, and you probably have a completely different perspective because you're kind of coming from the outside looking in.
Absolutely.
And now you're in, kind of looking out. And so we want to really hear your thoughts. And I don't know if we want to, I know we have a caller, but let me see if we can get this call, and then we want to get into the discussion. This is a very important discussion. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Yes, how may we help you, caller?
Oh, yes, hi, my name is Ron Robinson. We've spoken a couple of times.
Okay.
I work for Lady Healthcare, which is a mental health care facility located in Robin.
Okay.
I'm just watching this program as we speak right now, and what I'm finding is that a lot of the churches that are, you got a church on every corner, just like you got a liquor store on every corner. You got drug dealers on every corner. Mm-hmm. But the churches are not reaching out to the communities.
Okay.
Like you got a church with a vacant lot next door to it that needs to be cleaned. Mm-hmm. We have a church that has a member who has a son who's charged with a violent crime. He's charged with a violent crime because perhaps in order to be amoral and to pull a trigger, there has to be a deficiency that was seen early in life, but it has not been addressed. We really need to start addressing mental illness in our community, and the churches need to be the first ones to reach out.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I think that's kind of starts off our discussion. Right. We had a few questions, but I guess I'm going to just open it up with a little bit about you first before we go into the role of the church. Just what brought you to Englewood? Well, maybe give us that story.
Well, God called me to Englewood, this so-called most dangerous neighborhood in America. As a minister of the gospel, I looked to trouble the biblical waters, and what better waters to trouble than in Chicago? I hear the Chicago creates some great people, and coming from Baltimore, I thought it not robbery to get in here and become part of this fight and really address the issues of violence and chaos and economic injustice, poor schooling. I wanted to get part of that fight. A former principal in the Baltimore City Public Schools, a former community organizer, a gang leader, you name it, I've done it. And it's all about transforming this community so that it can be great and be the thriving hub that it used to be over 100 years ago, which is actually the founding and the birth of Greater St. John, 1887 when the church started. It's the first African-American church built in Englewood, built off commerce, economic development, moral responsibility, individual accountability, and the residents built it. And that has always been the mantra of the African Methodist Episcopal Church.
Okay.
Was to, from its founding in 1787 by the Free African Society, to say we're going to send our preachers into communities and we're going to build economic, spiritual hubs that can address the community.
But that is not happening today, unfortunately. I mean, are you seeing that is, I mean, maybe it's not, I haven't seen that much in Englewood, but I mean, some models. Are you seeing some models that you've observed in Englewood that's doing that type of work, or?
Yes, there are a number of community churches that are doing it. The
Okay.
problem is that we're not connecting the dots, and some of the biggest critics are not participating in the church. And they
Okay.
don't participate in church because they don't know the rich legacy and the rich history. And part of that problem is primarily because of the church's insular, isolated, secular focus, in which they do not go out and bridge the gap between the community, in which the church is called oftentimes to do and
Right,
be.
right.
And so we have a problem with just branding and telling a story, telling the dominative narrative.
Right.
Not that Englewood is a most violent prone neighborhood. It's only we don't talk about violence when we talk about Dr. H. Holmes, who was the serial killer of Englewood. We show a skinny, black boy as the face and the
Right,
problem
yeah.
of the murder in Englewood.
Right.
But when the church was founded, it was founded off of railroad workers who came here to really build, and domestics and preachers. And they came in and they built a great community called Englewood, and it thrived up until the 1920s when all the migrants, my
Right.
parents came from Mississippi to settle here, and they
Right.
settled in Englewood, and the population was booming into the 80s.
Wow.
Until the white flight left, and now we have what we have all across the country. And I think Chicago is the shining example of what we can do to undergird and develop communities all across the country. And I think that it is the political and economic mecca for our country.
Now, you said a lot there, and I just want to make sure our viewers are still with us and let them know that this is an interactive show, so you can call us at any time to jump into this conversation. This is a lot of history that you're sharing with us tonight, and some of our viewers, I really do appreciate this. Our number is 312-738-1060. We're talking to Reverend Kevin Andre Brooks about the roles of churches in the black community, and you've given us a really great historical perspective in terms of what
Absolutely.
the churches and what these institutions are really supposed to be for. So in your own personal experience with other dominations, and what would you say in your opinion is how do they work to kind of uplift community? What are some models that you've seen that was rooted in social justice and that really help uplift the community?
Well, there is no economic or political progress without the black church. It has always been the economic hope, not just for civil rights, but for economic rights. Again, the church founded off of slavery. So Denmark Vesey at Mother Emanuel AME Church, which we saw the targeted shooting, that was
Right.
absolutely strategic by the enemies of black folk and to discourage and set back. You want to oppress a people, you give them God. You want to liberate a people, you give them God. And so what has happened within our communities that we understand God is about development. God is about moral development, spiritual development. It's about freedom, justice, and equality. It's about knowing who you are so that we can undergird ourselves with those skills that are essential for us to grow.
Now, we are a complete grassroots organization. I know when you met me and, I talked to you that we don't have staff and we don't have an office space, but we are trying to do the best that we can do in the community of Englewood. How, in your opinion, or either have you seen, how could churches or how could grassroots organizations like Rage develop better relationships with churches and vice versa? How could we work more closely together?
Number one, get involved in the church, and it doesn't matter what your faith belief is. We are all residents, and I'm glad to say I'm a proud resident of Englewood.
Okay.
And I think that more pastors need to live in the community that they worship in, so that it can become
very good
practical
point.
and meaningful.
Right.
And because church is all about relationship. It doesn't matter what denomination one is or what religion one calls themselves. We are African people in this country really working towards freedom and justice and equality. So, once we do that, we can really build the educational centers that Englewood once had with this Englewood High School, which was a premier high school in the community. You all had all these jobs with the railroads. And so billions and billions of dollars goes in and out of Englewood every day, and the people are not eating off of that. And,
That's right.
And so my job as a pastor is to raise the banner, the clarion call for economic injustice. That's what we need to be talking about.
Right.
I don't want to talk about Chirac and the violence.
Right.
I want to talk about
That's
the
right.
lack of the lack of economic development. Well, you know, you all ran Martin Luther King out of the city over 30, 40 years.
Me. I don't know.
Hey, look, and so, you know, I'm continuing that matter to come back and say we're not finished that fight. You know, sometimes we talk about what's happening down south,
Right.
but it's these northern industrial cities
Right.
where, you know, the white barons turn their face away from black folk and allow these communities go underdeveloped and distressed. And now you close schools, you allow homes to be abandoned. And I have many of my...
You have a closed school not far from the church.
Yeah, absolutely,
Right, okay.
absolutely. And all, you know, 50% of my of the members of Greater St. John are people who lived in the community. They're over 70 and 80. They live in the neighborhood. They've been paying their bills. They work for the city, work for the railroads, work for the government. And now they have to fight and fight to maintain this level of high quality, which is an asset within the community. So my job is to develop and increase those assets.
Good. I like that. I mean, I feel like you've done a lot of your research prior to kind of landing in Englewood.
Being a historian, absolutely. You got to do the research.
So
you got to know your context.
And then I also remember having some conversation with you about how you were doing some work in Baltimore. So what role did the church play with those Baltimore riots? I mean, we were all watching those on the news and seeing so many young people just so heated in terms of that. And so what was the church role when that was going on?
I was the pastor of a church called Gethsemane African Methodist Episcopal Church, and I come out of a church called the Empowerment Temple, where Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryan is the pastor, and we basically organize young people.
And that's Jamal Bryan, who they've been kind of talking to. Yes.
We founded a church in 2000 to really focus and bridge the gap with young people and really understand who and how God works. We understand and know that it's totally impossible to understand God, an abstract notion, when you don't have a Father. So men stood up into the community, and we called young people together, and we said, okay, this is our city, this is our community, and you know, we're going to bring it and we're going to fight for what it needs, what are those things that we need.
Was that effective though? Were you able to reach them there? I mean, it was so heightened with a lot of emotion there.
Well, the emotion is good, and I love rage. James Baldwin said to be black and conscious in America is to be in a constant state of rage. That's why I love this organization. It is to say, look, we got something to fight for. And one thing you know about young people, you know, and black men in particular, they look for a battle to win and a war to fight.
Right.
And so we are proud people. The black preacher is the most powerful, liberated thing on the planet. So once you get them to sell out and start doing Flip Wilson, you got to understand that narrative that's been placed on the prosperity preachers and all of these things that allow a community to be picked for the plucking.
Right.
Because you don't have an understanding with God, because you have these pimps in the pulpit, and you have all these other folk who are undergirding the demise of the community.
What is
in the name of Jesus, or Allah, or Ra, or Legba, or whatever you want to call it. You know, we are the most fragmented people with all our God and all our consciousness.
I've heard that, you know, at 11 o'clock on a Sunday is the most segregated time for black folks. So, you know, because we're all in somewhere worshiping and not actually together.
It would not be a problem if we were organized and we were worshiping with a purpose and an aim and a destiny. Which is the history of all the primary 7 denominations of the black church, that they did, that was able to do some things. But now everybody, you know, is, you know, people don't go to church anymore because they don't see it's not practical, it's not relevant, nor is it meaningful.
So it looks like we have a caller. I don't want to, I mean, me and you, it sounds like you have a sermon going on.
You know, I'm a preacher.
Caller, you're there? Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm black physicist. I grew up in West Englewood, 7100 block of South Stewart. I know about black involvement of the church. Normal Avenue Baptist Church. Mm-hmm. That was where my grandmother, Jessie Cohen, and my mother, Nellie Hickman, an educator with DuSable High School for 19 years. You guys make some great points, but you know, Reverend, you pointed it out, it stands for accountability with the parents. When are they going to step up to the forefront? You guys offer all of these avenues, but they don't take advantage of it. You know, I don't have